CA logged his 10th 100-plus yard game. In total, CA scored 10 touchdowns on homecoming across his career, 9 of which were rushing. He also had 3 rushing touchdowns. Thanks. Both questions.
Andrew, sorry. Every week. I'll remember one day. Andrew Bobby with WBCA. Is there something specific about homecoming that brings out your best play?
This is when just the most family comes, so I feel like that plays a part in my energy when I go out on the field. This is the first time family came out all season, so just them coming out and them just me knowing in my head like I got family in the stands. It's like, man, I got to do something big, but I'm still playing within myself and within the team to make sure we get the win at the end of the day. But family and the extra fans for sure on homecoming for sure.
And then for any of you, just how good does it feel, obviously, coming off a loss and then a bye, just to get back in the win column and get a win in the MAC?
Yeah, it feels great. I mean, I think it just puts a lot of confidence in the team, you know, and I think offense fed off defense and defense fed off offense at times, and it's just a great team win. You know, those are the wins that really keep you going and remind you what it looks like, you know, to execute at a high level.
Cam Robertson with the Athens Messenger. Parker, like Sarah said, you get over 4,000 yards for your career here. What does that achievement just mean to you, you know, coming in this year, last year? You still got a lot of football left, but just seeing that midway point through the season.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that until now, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, it just means a lot, and you know, I just think it's a reflection of everyone that's poured into me. You know, everyone around me, the coaches, the receivers, this guy, and you know, I couldn't do it without them. And so, yeah, I think it's a reflection of this program more than anything.
Charlie Fedor from the Post, Adonis for you. The defense really stepped it up after a week where it seemed like kind of the energy was down at Ball State. Just what do you think changed week by week coming into today?
I think it's just like a day-by-day process. You know, like even just after that loss or after any game, you know, we want to go in the film room, we watch film, you know, we go to practice every day with the intent to get better, you know, especially coming off of that loss. It like kind of hit us hard. So, you know, we got to reevaluate, you know, look ourselves in the mirror and like attack each day. And I feel like we attacked this day. You know, there's still some things we could have did better, but it's definitely a great win to have.
Grant Kiefer, WAUB, Parker and CA, you guys got off to a hot start on offense, the 21 points, already more than the game at Ball State. How much of an emphasis was there to get off to a hot start after, you know, what had happened against Ball State?
Honestly, that was the vocal point for every game. Start fast, finish fast. Even like when we played West Virginia, it was 17-10, but we feel like we could have done more. So just starting fast was a big emphasis all week, even right after the Ball State game, because we just know we can do more. We know the type of team we are. Everybody all around can make plays, so it's just like we got to start fast and finish fast every week.
Owen Lipsher with the Post. Parker, there were a few plays throughout the game where you would be hit through the backfield and it looked like it could have gone for a loss that you would turn into a positive gain. What's going through your head on those plays just to keep extending through those?
Yeah, I think that's just instinctive. I don't really know what's going through my head. You know, when plays break down, I think I excel, you know, and so I think that just continuing to work within my ability in my game and not try to overextend, but allow for that to be a part of my game. I think that's something I'm continually working on.
He's a real magician. So.
For real.
You guys talked about starting fast, but also just in the red zone. Obviously, there were some struggles against Ball State. Today, 5 for 5 with 5 touchdowns. Just how important was that and how significant was that for you guys to be that efficient?
Honestly, that was one of the big points in practice, is be able to finish drives, because like you said, against Ball State, we got down to the goal line probably like twice, and then we didn't finish against Ball State. So finishing, showing the type of team we are, just finishing in the end zone, that was a big emphasis throughout practice in these past 2 weeks. So, yeah, that was a big emphasis for sure.
You guys had over 300, I think it was 333 rushing yards today. When you guys put up that many yards and like the offense is rolling like that, just what does that do for the confidence? What's the vibe like in the huddle and on the sideline?
Yeah, I think it's vibes are high, you know, it's in a good way. And I think that just instills like we can do whatever we want, you know, with this team. Like when we're running the ball well, like I don't think anyone can stop us in this league. And so I think that just puts this, you know, confidence behind us every drive that, you know, we're going to go score no matter what, and we're going to get out of tough situations because we're running the ball well.
just for any three of you, obviously the second half of Ball State wasn't as good as the first one. You guys come in tonight and you were really consistent throughout all 4 quarters. Offense, you guys scored at least a touchdown every 4 quarters. In all 4 quarters, defensively, you guys got a stop in all 4 quarters. What just went into that being a little more consistent throughout the entirety of the game comparative to 2 weeks ago?
I think every week we try to execute at our best, and you come off a tough loss, you go into the bye week, and just emphasis on it doesn't matter what quarter it is. We're going to start strong. We're going to finish strong. And I think with that emphasis is we're going to get stops and we're going to score. And it doesn't matter what point in the game we could be up, like we were. We expect to execute, and that's the standard we hold. And so to come out and do it tonight felt great.
Just for all 3 of you, this is obviously the last Saturday home game that you'll be playing here. Just what does that mean, and what does it mean to get a win like today on homecoming and on senior day?
Honestly, it's really nothing that can explain it. Honestly, this was a great 4 years. I know I left for 1 year, but it was a great 4 other seasons up here in Athens. It's something I'll never forget, honestly. So it's just the fans, the love every weekend, just how much they packed out Peden. We switch it to the Frank, and just the winning streaks on the Frank is something that you can't really explain. It's just love from the fans. It's unbelievable. Something that you'll never forget, honestly.
Anything else? All right. Thanks, everyone.
This is our second game this season where we've had 6 rushing touchdowns, tying the program's second most rushing touchdowns in a game. It's the first time this season the Bobcats have had 2 100-yard rushers, marking the first time they've hit this benchmark this season the first time they did it since the 2024 Staff DNA Cure Bowl. Parker hit 4,000 career passing yards this game. He's the 7th Bobcat to do this. The most recent Ohio quarterback to do this was Curtis Rourke. Duncan Brune had his first over 100-yard game with 126 yards. With 147 yards, C.A. Bangor recorded his 10th 100-plus-yard game as a Bobcat. C.A. loves homecoming, so he has scored 10 touchdowns on homecoming games across his career, 9 of which were rushing. He has also had 2 3-rushing touchdown homecomings as a Bobcat. With 108 yards, Chase Hendricks recorded his 5th 100-plus-yard game this season. And last but not least, Jalen Thomason recorded his first fumble recovery this season, returning it for 91 yards to extend Ohio's lead with less than 3 minutes in the game. Alrighty, Coach, when you're ready.
All right. So, start off, obviously proud of our team. I think that they really accepted the message of how we were going to get better, how we were going to respond, and that was how hard we were going to play, being an unselfish team, playing for each other, and I thought our guys played with great energy. I think they really enjoyed playing together, and you could see that on the field with how they played. There's obviously some guys that really stood out. I think Chase Hendricks starting the game off with a big punt return was huge for our energy and just for our momentum, and kind of starting the offense off with a 21-point lead to start the game. And I think our defense did a tremendous job stopping the run early in the game. Getting them off the field quickly. And I think those guys played hard the entire game. Proud of Jalen. That's a huge play for him at the end of the game to close it out. And then obviously we embraced the fourth quarter mentality of running the ball effectively in the fourth quarter to end the game. And anytime you can end the game with the ball in your hands, that's a great thing. And we emphasized how well Northern had been playing despite their record and how close they've kept all their games. So I think for our guys to play this game and win it really decisively, and I kind of dominate the fourth quarter the way that they did was very positive. All right, what do we got?
Andrew Bobby at WOUB. Is there something about homecoming games that you think brings out the best in CA?
I think we need to get his mom at all games. 'Cause I think homecoming, typically his mom usually comes to those games, and obviously he loves her a lot. She's a great woman, and he typically plays better when she's around. So I may have to work on how I can get here to all of our games, because he tends to play better when she's around.
And then obviously CA had a really big game today, but also Duncan, performed well. How important is it to have, that kind of 1-2 tandem so that you have a second guy that can come in and make plays?
Very important. It takes some of the pressure off of Parker, which is great. And I think they complement each other really well. Both of them are physical, run hard. And I think Duncan has just a little bit different element of the physicality behind his pads. And I think when both those guys are playing well, it can wear down a defense. That's when you see some of those runs start popping in the second half.
Charlie Phil with the Post. Coach, obviously we've talked about the dominance of the run game, 333 yards today. Just what does that kind of do for your confidence as a play caller? And then what is that feeling like when you know your team is just unstoppable on the ground?
I think it allows you to be a little more aggressive at times and a little more free as a play caller when you're confident that if you get an incompletion on first down, that you can put yourself in third and manageable running the ball. Or that you're going to be in favorable situations that you feel more comfortable taking some shots down the field. And I think that helped the run game a lot this week. Was we were a little more aggressive in the first half, pushing the ball down the field a little bit more. Would have loved to connect on the early post that we really overthrew, probably kind of extremely. So I think that helps open up things in the run game when you can be a little more aggressive downfield.
Grant Kiefer, WAEB, you kind of emphasized it throughout the week, wanting to start hot all season, really. And, after, not really starting hot against Ball State, rattle off 21 points fairly quickly. Just, what kind of changed to allow that to happen?
I don't know if there was a major change. I think our guys understood where they kind of messed up, I think, in that game. And I think there was a little bit of a mental shift with them. I think we practiced really well. The bye week was helpful for our guys just to really get mentally refreshed, I thought, and, in addition to being physically refreshed. I think they played off each other's energy really well. When you create a big play on special teams early in the game, I think that helps get things really rolling.
It looked like a lot of their confidence was back up to specifically Parker and the running backs.
Yeah, I think the whole entire team was playing with a lot of confidence. Offense, defense. I think all those guys had great energy and really feed off each other.
Coach, when we talked on Monday, you said you were really impressed by Northern Illinois' defense and how they were able to limit explosive plays. Today, you guys were able to exploit that and get a lot of explosive plays. A couple that were taken back due to penalty, but some of those explosive runs in the second half, some bigger passes to Chase, to Caleb, to Mason. What were you guys able to do to exploit them defensively and get some of those bigger plays?
I think it starts with our guys really just playing physical to help with the explosives in the run game. And I think we're talented at receiver and quarterback, obviously. And I think you can still be aggressive even though a defense has had success limiting teams to explosives. I don't think that you change your approach to how you play the game. I think you still want to be aggressive, and I think the players appreciate that, and it shows our confidence in them as playmakers. When you put things in that are going to allow them to attack a defense.
Obviously, they ran out a new quarterback, or not a new quarterback, but a quarterback that wasn't really supposed to start the game, I guess. And just what did that feel like for the defense? Then how do you think they responded to that? Obviously, starting hot in the first quarter.
I think they responded well. I don't think it made a major shift to what we were doing game plan wise. I don't think it was a drastically different style of player. I don't think schematically they changed much. So I don't think it played a big effect on our guys.
You guys pick up the win on senior day. We asked about them on Monday, but can you just talk again about this senior class and kind of what it means to send them off their last home Saturday game at Peden with a win? Obviously, a lot of football still left, but just kind of what it means to send them off with a win on that last Saturday day game.
Yeah, it's unique how our seasons work, right, where you do your senior game at the midpoint of the season. So it's definitely a weird feeling when you still have, 5 regular season games going after this. And the senior days are totally different than how they used to be. You know, we walked 20 guys, and there's a lot that this was their first year as Bobcats. You know, there were some that came as transfers. You know, when we talked to the team earlier today, you know, something that we talk a lot about with them is having a genuine appreciation for the commitment and effort that everyone makes. So just how much we appreciate the commitment and effort of that group of seniors. And there was a couple of guys that I wanted to recognize that I thought were different and special. And, you know, there's 4 guys of that 20 that came here as freshmen and have stayed through graduation. And, you know, the one that really stuck out to me the most was Davion Witherspoon, because of that group, he's the only one that's a 5-year guy. And came redshirted, developed within the scout team, became a starter, you know, became a really good player, had opportunities to transfer and probably make more money than what he was going to make here with us, and, you know, was loyal and committed to his team and trusted what we were doing. And, you know, so I think that's extremely important, that you recognize those guys that do stay and are loyal and, you know, love where they're at and understand that they're successful because of the support that they're surrounded with. You know, so him, you know, Adonis is another one. And I put an asterisk by him because he did go to prep school for a year, but, you know, he came here as a true freshman and has played all 4 years. Cam Wright is another one, came as a walk-on, has earned a scholarship. And then Rodney Harris is the other one. You know, came as a freshman, has been a great player for us. You know, so those guys have, you know, been through the last 4 or 5 years of a lot of the success that we've had and are a big reason why, and, you know, drive our culture. And that's why, you know, a couple of those guys are team captains. And, you know, I want to say that entire group are all on the leadership council, the leadership committee. So, you know, definitely those guys mean a lot. And then you go through the rest of them, and, you know, there's a lot of guys that haven't been here as long or came in different ways, but embraced who we are, how we do things, and, you know, have been a great part of our program, our success, and, you know, what's being built.
Anything else? Okay, thank you, Coach.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys.